Hello everyone and welcome back to the Tabletop Tactician, here showcasing my custom Chinese units for Global War 2025. So you'll notice right away a lot of duplicate units and a larger variety of units than my last video in this series covering my custom Russian units. So for the Chinese, I'm looking to cover a lot more territories that are encompassed into the Chinese forces, such as North Korea and Vietnam. So you will see units lettered for both of those nations as well, all encompassed under the Chinese faction here for Global War 2025. So let's get started. First thing you'll notice is we do have a ballistic missile submarine. I have since added one to my Russian units. We have the Type 92 here, a Chinese sub, so I do have a custom one for the Russians now as well, which you'll get to see in my next playthrough. So, ballistic missile sub, that is a 3D printed part from Historical Board Gaming. This is a stock Type 54 frigate from the game, lettered to the Chinese here. Also the stock Type 54 frigate. I'm sorry, this is the Type 55 guided missile destroyer. And the Type 93 here, nuclear attack submarine. Moving on to the flat tops here. This is a stock Type 7 LHD. So this is just the stock mold from the game, not a 3D printed part. Then we have 3 aircraft carriers here for the Chinese. So we have the stock from the game Type 1 Admiral Kuznetsov. I think it was the Varyag was the one that was sold to the Chinese. So that is represented here by the stock piece. The Type 2, which I believe is fictional since it does not have a ski jump. I believe the actual Type 2 is more akin here to the Type 1, but entirely indigenous, made by Chinese. But we still have a great looking piece here from Historical Board Gaming. And lastly, the newest to the Chinese Navy, the Type 3. Very cool looking mold here. I'm sorry, this is a 3D printed part. It's a very cool looking 3D printed part here. So that covers the Chinese Navy. Moving on to the ground forces. So here's where we start to see some breakup here. So for the tanks, you'll notice 3 different tanks here. We have 2 T-72s, as well as one, what was this? The Z-95. This is the stock tank that comes with Global War 2025. So this one is lettered for the Chinese. And we have this T-72 lettered for, the camera does not want to pick that up, but this one is North Korean. And a Vietnamese T-72. Do not know if the Vietnamese actually have T-72s. I usually do my research on all of these, but I had an abundance of T-72s. So the Vietnamese got a T-72. Moving on now to the infantry. Once again, we have 3 different sculpts here. These are all stock, and the only difference here is a North Korean one. The camera does not like me today. I am so sorry, everybody. Oh, okay, let's change lenses. So a North Korean, here a Chinese, and a Vietnamese infantry. Moving on to the Air Force, we have the stock to the game Chinese attack helicopter here. And the same, I believe this is the Pegasus drone, the US drone, but the Flying Dorito looks more menacing as a enemy power. And lastly, for our Air Force here, a couple of MiG, I believe these are MiG-21s. And these are, once again, lettered for both North Korean service. Come on, camera. The red on red was really fun to get to even show in person, let alone on camera. There we go. So a North Korean MiG And then the Chinese also have some, I believe it's the J5. So I gave the Chinese a few. Along with the stock fighter here, the Griffin. So this will cover my Global War 2025 custom units for the Chinese. Oh, and once again, all of my carriers do have their built-in magnets in the deck here, so they can transport. For the super carriers, I like to try to get 3 magnets on there. Oh, there we go. It doesn't always quite work out. There we are. And all the carriers have this, so I just place some magnets underneath. And then the magnets are the flight stands. And this one got some paint over them. But it makes it really easy to just pick up, move your carriers around. Gives a neat effect too of having landed aircraft on your carriers. It's really cool. I plan to cover that in an upcoming video of how I paint and customize all my units for Global War 2025 and other games going forward. Slowly working through customizing units for both Axis and Allies, America, and soon to be Global War 1985. So thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you in the next one.